Hey there, Johnny Daniel, your Stampin' Up! Independent Demonstrator. Hey, just wanted to create a card with you from the Lifetime of Love. Now I know it's a little bit sappy, but I have to say I just finished celebrating my 28th wedding anniversary. So I thought, hey, this is appropriate, and Valentine's Day is coming up. So I figured I would teach you how to create a card using Emboss Resist with some watercolor. So with that being said, we're gonna get moving. So this is what you're gonna need. The set is Lifetime of Love. You've got Forever and Always, Congratulations on Your Wedding Day, Wishing You a Lifetime of Love and Happiness, and Love You. Now, don't miss that one down there. But I do have to say, remember too, if you want to, you can always cut things apart if you only want, you know, pieces and parts of things. So, but I do have to say, I'm not a big fan of roses, never have been, because it just seems more common. I do like Gerbera daisies, so we're gonna do the Gerbera daisies and we're gonna do Love You. So we're ready for Valentine's Day since the anniversary has passed. So I've got my Stampin' Seal, I've got my water painters, I've got my big one full, I've got my daisy stamp, and I've got my Love You. Doesn't matter if it's crooked or not, we can compensate. I've got my thick basic white card base, and this is cut at 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. You always want to fold with the concave side being on top. We are going to hide our mountains, or for us girls, we're going to support our bumps, right? So they go inside. All right. And then I'm gonna, of course, unfold it. I've also got basic gray as a mat with some Stampin' Seal if I can get it rolling. It's a windy, blustery, cold day today, and nothing seems to want to work today, including myself. I wanted to be under a blanket, but here we are. So I'm just gonna try to line this up straight. Good luck, right? And then this piece, this is out of the Be My Valentine suite. This is the designer series paper, really cute on the back as well, but I wanted something a little bit more subdued, not as Valentine's, right? Then I have my watercolor paper. Now, it always fuzzes for some reason, so just run your finger alongside, you'll be fine, okay? Now I'm going to emboss first, and when I emboss, I want to do it in Versamark, and I also want to do it in gray. And I'm going to show you how to make your embossing colored, okay? So, let's see here. So we've got that going on. All right, so you always want to make sure your pad's nice and juicy, okay? So first we're gonna stamp in our Versamark. Now if you didn't want to do it this way, you could do the Stamparatus, which we no longer sell, or the Misty, some kind of positioner, and you can obviously ink it and then do the Versamark afterwards so you don't cross over on your pads. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please comment. Feel free, I'll message you, no problem. But for now, I'm gonna do this, and I'm just gonna stamp this here. Okay, so I've got my gray, and then I've got my clear, as you can see. I can't read that little stuff anymore. I don't know if it's getting older or if it's getting smaller, but I tend to write it in Sharpie, so when I'm in a hurry, tired, whatnot, I can still see it. So there's my clear. And then so my lettering looks this very, very, very similar. I'm gonna go into my Versamark, I'm gonna go into my gray, and then I'm gonna go Love You down here. And then probably some gems or something are gonna go up there, but you get the point. All right, bring my tray back. Okay. So grateful to have my arm back. I had had a broken arm for about 7-8 weeks, and it's not fully functioning, but I am so grateful that it's halfway back at least. We'll just say it that way. So, all right, so we're gonna grab our gray. I'm done with this, so I'm gonna close this up. And we gotta heat this, right? So I'm gonna grab my heat tool. Now, if you sign up right now to be on my team, you will also get the option of a glass mat, and that's really cool because it is heat resistant, which means you can set it on just about anything and embossed and not have to worry about if you're melting something underneath. So that's kind of cool. If you sign up by February 29th, your first full quarter will not be until the end of June. And of course you get bonuses and all kinds of stuff. But the only requirement is $300 a quarter. So just FYI for you. You can be as active or inactive as you want, but the only actual requirement to stay active is $300 a quarter. Just that simple. So you can go to craft fairs, you can sell, you can do online, you can do classes, you can do whatever you want within reason. There are a couple of rules, obviously, but there you go. So if you're interested, you go onto my website, stampinwithjohnny.com, and you could click on the team benefits and see what there is. So to see if this is good, just kind of run over. Yep, good. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my green and my sweet sorbet, which matches my paper. And the green is going to be, it's actually Parakeet Party if you're trying to follow along. And Parakeet Party is one of those. Let's move this a tiny bit. Okay, so I'm going to get my water painter out and I'm going to do a couple drops here because I want to get some water into the paper because I don't want that ink to look solid or dropped. So what I want to do, and I guess I didn't clean this all that well because I've got some residue, shall we say, from last time, but that's okay. All right, so you want to make sure to clean these really good. But I'm going to prime my watercolor paper by putting water on it to begin with. Just easier that way because then when you drop the ink, it's not like going into the paper. So I'm going to dab here. If you don't want to get water on your pad, what you can do instead, you can, so I'm just going to dab, dab, dab. So what you can do instead is you can grab a re-inker and a block or another silicone mat. You could do all kinds of things, but I'm right here and this is what we're doing. So we're just going to dab around and I'm going to clean this up a tiny bit and just going to color the flowers very loosely, shall we say, and put a little more water. So there's that. Okay, now I'm going to grab into my green and I'm just going to touch, touch, touch right here because my leaves are green last time I looked, right? And then I'm going to touch back into my, now this is because I am strictly being a tiny bit lazy and I don't want to open up another water painter. So I'm just touching everything here and then I've got some green that I need to do up here. See how simple this is? And then after it dries, you've got everything you need. And then I do have one more. I want to do some yellow. So I'm going to grab my crushed curry That's going to be my middle here. If I could get it open. So I'm going to touch just the corner here, and I'm going to touch just the corner, and just the corner, and just the bottom here. And that's what I have. And I'm going to let this dry really, 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 really good. But when it's done, let's see here. But when it's done, it will look like that. But obviously I'm going to let it dry so the glue sits well. But that is what it will look like when it's done. So if you want to order any of this, or if you have any questions about Celebration, what's been added to Celebration, or sign up, this is all by February 29th. Message me. Facebook, Instagram, or stampingwithjohnny.com. There is a contact page, or, you know, give me a call. So thanks again for joining me, and follow me for more, stampingwithjohnny.com. Thank you. Bye-bye.